So, I was just invited to the exclusive Borderlands 4 video game announcement event in the LA Art District, and it was one of the darkest events I have ever shot in. But I still walk away with some stunning cosplay portraits thanks to one small light that I brought with me, and also some lighting tricks that I'm gonna share in this video. Joseph everyone, my name is Wong, and I'm a photographer down here in Southern California, Los Angeles. So if you have ever shot at any gaming convention, you know the pain. Low light, fog machines, spotlights that's moving around like a light show. While the vibe is amazing, getting clean photos is tough, like really tough. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how I made it work. It's kind of similar to what I've done at BlizzCon before, and I have some videos about that, on my YouTube as well. But this time, I rely on my Zhiyun FIVERAY M20 light, which is great because it fit perfectly in my pocket, just a small little square. And I also use some clever lighting angle to making sure that my photos stood out. The event itself was incredible, so I'm gonna talk about that a little bit. When you first got there, you get to walk through this tunnel, which feels kind of like a portal into the Borderlands world. And inside, it's like a dystopian mini city. It's kind of really immersive once you got in there. There's this giant statue. I think it's the new villain, the Timekeeper. There was a bunch of demos areas where you can play the games. There's also one giant streaming area with I think like 60 to 80 or I don't know, a bunch of different computers where streamers can stream the game and show off what the new characters are like. There's also a photo area with life-size characters you can take photos with. And then there's also a VIP gaming section area, which I got to go. I got to play the game for a little bit. There's also a bunch of art, a lot of props, merch, things that both fans made or things that they commissioned. There was also food and drinks, and that's all of it. Overall, it was an amazing event. And this was actually the first time I ever played a Borderlands game. So I died a lot, but thank God my teammates were there and they were able to carry me, and we were able to beat this giant monster boss together at the end. So overall, pretty good. And I also brought my Ray-Ban Meta sunglasses with me. They're not sunglasses when I'm indoor, but they're great because I get to enjoy the event without having to interrupt by taking out a second camera to take photos or videos, and just enjoy the events by myself without having that distractions, which I did also talk about in my Meta glasses video. So go check that out if you. The whole event was awesome because I get to run into a lot of my friends, including one of my best friends, Sarah Chu. She was cosplaying Vex, which is one of the new characters, some kind of sirens that have summoning powers and stuff like that. But there were also a lot of cosplay friends there too. So overall, I had a great time. It feels like going to a convention with cosplay friends that I know from everywhere. But here's the main challenge. The whole venue was dark, super dark. So taking photos was really difficult. So this is where I have to get very creative. I used the spotlight as a rim light to separate my cosplayer, the subject, from the background. And I also brought my Zhiyun FIVERAY M20 as a front-facing key light. It is small, it is powerful, and it fits in my pockets, which I walk in with no problem. Because sometimes if you bring in, very professional equipment, they also get weird about it, especially, if I wasn't a hired photographer or a media person, but I would have no problem walking in at all. While I was shooting, it was really kind of funny because we have to move around to find the spotlight. And sometimes we have to wait for the spotlight to swing back, or Stella had to literally step into the light every few seconds. So there's few inches and moving around. So it's kind of a hilarious dance, but it totally worked. It worked out at the end. We also saw another friend who was cosplaying this villain character. I assume they're a villain because they look kind of more dangerous and scary. But I did the same approach, I used the spotlight as a rim light and then the M20 as a field light. And I even got to shoot in front of a neon sign, and I crouched down to get a low angle so I can block out the crowd in front or in the back, so it should really stand out in the shot. Now for gear, I used my Nikon Z8. I shot mostly at f1.2 because of how dark it was, and I set my camera to auto ISO. Handheld the Z8 in one hand and using the M20 in the other. It wasn't perfect, it's not the best, but it did pretty good at this event, so I think it was a win. Once I got a shot, I bring it back home. I, touch it up in Photoshop, add some clarity. I even, make the character pop more by, upping the saturation a little bit. And here are the results. Honestly, I'm super happy how it turned out, given how chaotic the space was, and I also get to enjoy the event. So it was actually a lot of fun for both attending events and also shooting. Also, big massive thanks to 2K for inviting me. I had an amazing time. I get to play the games, I get to shoot monster, I get to hang out with friends, see my cosplayers, like overall, good stuff. But if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and also subscribe, and comment if you have ever shot in a tough lighting situation before, and maybe you also have some tricks and technique that you can share with me. And I can also tell you more if you have something that you're interested for me to talk about. Anyway, more cosplay, more BTS, more photo tips are coming along, so making sure you check out my video for more. Until then, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!